last session was a little bit of a warm up session, trying to get the pieces all arranged on the board, um, all of the pawns in their places, and the king as well. So trying to be sure that everyone was queued up and ready to go. So we had gone through the rather lengthy process of sort of updating for the 20 years passage between the your experience in the night floors at the McAllister and sort of
Do you need to pare down the cast a bit?
Yeah, I know. I mean, right? Who knows? Who knows where Vic and by extension Rob are? But they're off in the Netherverse.
I was also thinking of her sister, my
Oh,
mentor.
well, that's true, and right,
And
exactly.
the
Jacob's
Russian
contact,
the Russian buddy,
the beloved Russian contact.
Exactly. Natali.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Exactly. But some new faces as well.
But that's right. Bibliophile 99.
Oh, right.
Exactly. Plenty of new
I
friends.
just looked at that and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, my internet.
That happened.
But yes, I think where we had landed was, in Willow, you had largely gone back to upstate New York, to your job in the parks, and had drifted away from poor Rusty, and had reconciled with your sister to some extent, but then the unfortunate loss that you suffered, under sort of a cloud.
Positive side, no more excuses necessary.
That's right. No more of those pesky, stressful excuses to offer. But since at least the sort of first half of the 2000s, you had not been contacted by Delta Green, and Jack and Jacob, for you both, still with your respective organizations, but Jacob sort of compartmentalized off into a side office, still the oracle of the sub basement, as far as analysis is concerned, but and still called in on a variety of operations, maybe a fewer field ones these days, but still connected in with the program. And Jack, you perhaps more now in a more paternal role, more of a coaching and training role, with the hostage rescue organization at the FBI, but also taking a little bit more of a leadership role with the Delta Green operations in town. But you had it had been a few years since you had been last contacted. And I think, in a sense, for you and Jacob, you and Jack, Willow had already sort of resigned herself to a bit of solitude and probably welcomed it. Jacob and Jack, you perhaps, I don't know how much it weighed on you that you hadn't heard from the organization in a while. But in any case, this invitation had shown up.
All right. Sorry, one thing before, if you don't mind. We talked about maybe discussing.
Yeah, discussing a couple extra things related to the McAllister incident.
The former tenants. Like,
yes.
If we were able to find out, maybe not through in-depth research, but trying to find out what happened to them, and if we were able to communicate with them at all after
Operation Alice, as it was designated. Yes. So how quickly after the McAllister incident did you did you try and pursue those former tenants? Because, like I said, within a matter of 48 hours, within a matter of 24 hours, they had been pulled out of there. And you were left to understand that they had been sort of held or detained while the building was undergoing the process of demolition.
It's a good question. I think probably not immediately, because we were still we were interviewed, and then maybe just a couple weeks, let's say, before I turned to, realized I wasn't getting any more information. So then started to get curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So there were a handful of residents. There was Roger Caroon, who, Jack, you had encountered in person. Michelle Van Fitz, who you understood had interacted with Vic in some capacity, and it was her apartment that you learned that was the entry point for Jacob and Willow to the night floors. Lewis Post was an illustrator in his 20s who lived there, as did Thomas Manuel, who was a painter, also in his mid-20s.
Oh, he's the one we thought did the ones in the basement, right? TM?
Correct. TM.
Okay.
Thomas Manuel. Mm-hmm. So, did you just want to try to sort of cast a net and see where they ended up?
If I was already essentially out of contact with Agent Marcus and say Graham and company, then I'd probably do a passive net to try and find them.
Yeah. So you discover a couple of things when you start to reach out. Why don't you give me a bureaucracy check?
I don't think it'll help me much, but my bureaucracy did improve by like 5 to a total of 10 or something.
That's right.
Let's see.
And you can make this a plus 30, because if you're just trying to get sort of general information following up, then I think that's perfectly fine. So you're wanting to read the sheets.
Sorry, plus
20.
All right, thank you. Let's see what happens. Oh, success.
Oh, there you go. So you do a little bit of very, very light digging. Nothing that would really you intentionally try not to set off any alarms or bells, but you find out a couple things. A couple weeks after. The first is that these individuals, the Thomas, Roger, Lewis, and Michelle, when they had to be removed forcibly from the building, as you had observed, and they remained in sort of what was described as a state of, at least for Michelle and Thomas in particular, but the others as well, a state of sort of homicidal mania for a period of days. Actually a number of NYPD officers were injured in the process of both removing them from the building and in their detention, and that the reports you gain access to noted that they were insisting on getting back to the building, getting back to their apartments, and so they were placed under observation, and they essentially there were a few different outcomes, at least within a couple weeks. Each of them sort of it seemed like there was a question of charges being brought for assaulting the officers, but whether they would actually sort of face those charges based on sort of competency was still up in the air. It seemed like Thomas Manuel's parents were heavily involved in trying to lobby for him to be released, and to be put into care outside of the city or state system. Um, you found that it seemed as if, just based on contact records, um, Roger Caroon, his agent, was trying to reach out to him through the system or to try to check in, um, his literary agent, but no one else. Lewis Post, um, uh, or I should say Michelle Van Fitz, and Lewis Post both um, uh, disappeared
Mm.
from their cells. Um, and it seems as if for Lewis Post, it was precipitated by sort of a period of prolonged calm, where it seemed like he was sort of recentering and recovering, and he asked for he asked to have access to a mirror,
Mm-mm.
and the request was given or was granted, and when the orderly had come back to retrieve it, the mirror was there and he was out of his cell. So the assumption is that he escaped. Michelle Van Fitz uh, was she similarly disappeared, but under um, differing circumstances. It seemed as if she took the bed sheets um, in her room and began to sort of fashion them into a variety of articles of clothing, and was wearing them, and it
Mm.
became an issue. But at a certain point, um, she she disappeared along with all of the bedding, sort of bedclothes, and the assumption there was that she had used them somehow to, the old classic, turn your bed sheets into a rope and go out the window sort of situation. That's what they
Mm.
thought, at least. Although the precautions in the facility would seem to have precluded that as an option.
Peculiar.
Mm-hmm. And then just one other note, because Roger Caroon, who I mentioned before, um, the notes on his file state that, because there was a statement that was taken, he was loose enough to give a statement, and um, he said a couple things, in addition to sort of being demanding that he be released. Um, he um, he said that he was working on a play, and he needed to
Mm.
get back. That uh, that the pages kept coming, and that he had felt the inspiration to write ever since uh, Abby had loaned him that book.
Oh no.
And the interviewer had inquired, what book, and he said, "The Little Red Book."
Are either of the books I took red?
World Without Doors is.
Yeah, it's got a sort of maroon cover to it.
Is it
It's not little.
small? Okay.
That's open to interpretation. interpretation. But no, it's not little.
The medium maroon
Medium
book.
maroon book. Let me add it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep,
I think it's on the cork board, isn't it?
it is.
The cork board, of
The
course.
cork board. You just got to look at the cork board. Clue board. Yeah, so that's the results of sort of going through and pulling the statements and reports and sort of database entries on these individuals. A few weeks after the McAllister incident.
Thank you.
Any other homework items or other sorts of threads to tease or pull? Well, then I'll say this invitation thread shows up. I think I had mentioned perhaps it shows up in a FedEx, and it shows up. Yeah, a FedEx that you received on the 28th of August in 2015. It's addressed to you. And as I said before, it indicates that there is this party that's to be held at the Gateway Bridges restaurant in the Dorchester neighborhood of Boston at 8 p.m. on the 1st of September. And as we had noted, at least for Jacob, it's in honor of Richard Zaloni, which he recognized as essentially Richard Green in Polish, but instantly your eyes were drawn to the green triangle at the top, and you understand this instinctively as being an invitation to a night at the opera, an invitation from the program to you all. And so I'm just going to double check and see here. Yeah.
We'll be back in a second.
Sure. So, Willow, what is your forensics skill?
Forensics. Let's check. $50.
So you take a couple things away from the writing on the invitation.
$5.
That it indicates the person is right-handed, is trained has training in calligraphy, but there's clearly some sort of physical. There's some sort of impediment to the writing. You see, it sort of has some heavy looping and sort of issues.
Yeah, there's some sort of curving in the.
Right, which to you might you're not a medical expert, but perhaps somebody who had issues with some sort of neurological condition like Parkinson's or maybe a stroke or something like that. But had been trained as a calligrapher and is likely male.
Huh.
So you take away, and you also note that the stock of the paper is sort of this luxuriant hand-pressed paper that has seen better days. So it's clearly stock from a while back, but when it was made, it was a premium quality, and could even have been made sort of a bespoke or handmade type of situation, because if you're thinking that this was made a while back, maybe it wasn't even necessarily machined, that it was more sort of hand constructed, and no obvious sort of marks or stamps. But you do notice that the way this has been made it's almost like a picture in a frame, right? Because you have the paper interior to the invitation where the scripting is done, and it's folded and glued like a picture in the frame, covering a large area of the paper that would be sort of underneath, and then you have sort of this matting which is peeling a little bit at the top. You notice.
Hmm. Interesting.
I'm trying to think of anything else. Jacob, let's see. You are an artiste of sorts, right? You are a photographer, correct? Um, so you have an eye for detail, and you notice not the same things that Willow does, but a couple of one thing in particular. Um, Certainly the odd sort of looping and swirling of the scripting, it seems to be a bit uneven. Um, but you notice that certain letters are marked with a small, nearly transparent pencil mark, like a single dot of light gray lead. Do you see that on there? Can you pull it up?
I do. Like above the H, above the E, the L. Is that what we're talking about? That little mark?
Yeah, yeah.
E, L, L.
Certainly not looking closely at it.
E, E, help me? No, that's great.
Oh God, seriously?
Oh God, seriously, yes. Yep, see that.
Let's definitely go to this party.
It must be Vic. I'm sure somehow it's Vic.
That's right. Vic is sending us this coded message.
Coded invitations.
That's right.
Ooh.
So Jack, of course, just sees it and is like, well, another goddamn operation, sure.
Got nothing else better going on.
Exactly. And so this would be in, let's see, it's on the 28th of, what did we say, the 28th of August,
August, yeah.
2015, which is Friday, it looks like. So this party, this dinner, whatever it is planned for the following Tuesday. So you have a few days to figure out, for those of you in New York City, and for Willow, how you will plan to get up there, and what sort of excuse you will make. So we don't need to go too much into detail, but as I taunted you with previously, I'll need a little bit of information about how long you're planning to take off or put in with the office, and sort of what excuses you're making.
How much time did it end up being away last time? Like altogether?
Mostly over the weekend, but
Wasn't it? It was like a weekend.
Friday Friday morning we had to.
Right. Now, so you took right a couple days on the front end of the weekend, but then recovery took a little bit of time on the back end. We never really talked about that. So, maybe a little bit of time that you took to recover. And we don't need to get into the specifics of that, but yeah. So you had intended at least to just take a couple days. But yes, this one is starting on a Monday, so you aren't quite sure.
Yeah, so I think I would. I'm senior enough, and I think I'm probably still involved in operations. Probably managing operations if they come up. But if there's nothing's come up such that it's okay for me to take that time off,
Yeah.
then I'm just sort of bravado. I'm taking that Friday off and going to Boston, not really explaining.
You going to Boston? All right. Well, what's up in Boston, Jake? What's up in Boston? Got family?
No, going to
Yeah.
get away from it all.
Oh man.
Get out
All
of the
right.
city.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Hey, well, don't become a Sox fan while you're up there, right?
Nothing to worry about.
All right, and Jacob, taking advantage of your plentiful PTO.
Yeah, I mean, I'm past retirement age at this point anyway, so they really don't care if I'm there or not. They don't rather I wasn't.
You're wondering whether you even submit for it. You're kind of like, just.
Nobody's gonna give a damn, you know. And I make the excuse of heard about a great new pastry shop that has all sorts of new donuts there.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
They like roll their eyes and they're like, enjoy.
So
And Willow. So for you, this is coming a little bit out of the blue. It's been
good.
not quite a decade, but it's been a while. It's been many years, and so I'm sure this hits pretty hard. But you still feel the obligation, if not compulsion, to go. How do you make your excuses?
Well, my colleagues in the woods would know that I'm quite the bibliophile myself these days.
Yes.
Because I talk about weird old books all the time with them. So I'm going to tell them that there's like a old book convention going on in Boston. And I got a VIP pass and I got to get down there and take the week off.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell anything to Bibliophile 99?
Do I know where Bibliophile 99 is? I don't remember.
It's strictly an online friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because
Yeah,
there is no book convention.
Oh, I know.
I'm just kidding.
I thought about going with I'm going to a SWAT certification, hostage rescue certification convention down in Boston, but I'm like, it seems.
And someone's going to Google it and be like, ooh, that sounds good. Can I go?
I know.
And
See,
be
that's
like,
the danger.
wait,
Instead, you just be like,
I would totally get called on that. Totally get called on that. So I was like,
look who's in the chat. Or Vic is appearing from beyond the veil to say that he went to that book convention, New England Booksellers Association.
Wait, where?
He's logged into Twitch.
Oh, he's watching us?
Yeah.
That is creepy and sort of fits this whole thing, doesn't
He's
it?
logged into
we can't see him, but he's watching us.
Exactly. I have my little portal up, so yes. Which,
Whoa.
It's very rare that we have a viewer, so thank you.
Shout out
too. Yeah.
That's right.
Like, subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe.
Hit that bell notification.
How are we going to rescue you if you don't subscribe?
That's right.
That's true. That's right.
Well, and it's worth pointing out, I mean, to anyone watching, right, put in the comments below, should we even rescue Vic? I mean, that's the...
How many pieces should we find his body in?
How many pieces? 2, 4, 6?
Right.
Weigh in now.
He's just gonna be coughing up sprockets.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's
Never
gonna be
again.
coughing many sprockets. Rob for his part says yes, but I don't know.
Yes, as to parts.
We'll take a poll. Yeah, yeah, it's actually true. He might be saying yes to sprockets. So, but yeah. So you all make your respective excuses, and through whatever means you decide. Actually, it's worth noting, Jacob, Jack, would you drive? Would you take the train?
I feel like I'd take the train if I'm such a city 20,
City
30
boy.
years in the city. Probably don't have a car. Probably have no life. Just work and yeah, I'll take the train.
Jack's a little cheaper. He takes the bus from Chinatown. Jacob, sorry.
Jacob takes the bus,
Feng
to
Wah was
Chinatown.
still
The
a thing
Feng
in
Hua is still,
2000?
Was
like,
Megabus around in 2015 yet?
I don't remember.
Well, we'll say it's the Feng Hua still. The last
Yeah.
name's for the Feng Hua.
The last of the Feng Hua, he's sitting on top of the chickens. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. There's only 2 breakdowns along the way.
And 5 near misses.
Right. And you can get a box of honeydew donuts in the departure terminal before you head out.
Nice.
Survival.
That's right. So you head up to Boston, and
I ship up to Boston.
you ship up to Boston. That's right. And yes, you decide. Are you going to? I mean, at this stage, there is no coordination because. Actually, no. I take that back. You each have maintained, even through the years, a system of pagers and burner phones. At this point, much less with the pagers, but you have burner phones and had continued on a regular basis. And Jack, maybe you were the one who helped to coordinate on this. The members of Cell E. And
Yeah, I think I indicated at the last session that I was concerned about the surviving members of our team.
yeah. So after, and I think I don't know that we touched on this as much, so I apologize if I'm changing something here. But with Willow being out of pocket since the early 2000s, Cell A had done a couple things with the death of Ike, and Agent Marcus technically being the lead for Cell M. Cell A had brought in another individual, Agent Ellen, this one who worked for a local office of the CIA, who had been sort of coordinating a number of the operations that you had been involved with in the New York area. But Jack, I think especially with Jacob and Willow, you had been maintaining sort of burner phone connections with them, and you reach out to them and to Ellen, because you're assuming at this point, like especially Ellen, Jack, Jacob, you three had been sort of the operational pieces for the past 5 years or so, and you get confirmation from Jacob, but Ellen just writes back tersely, not involved in this one. And so call it intuition, or maybe on a whim, you reach out to Willow, her phone, and she confirms that she's also going to be heading north. And so you realize the three of you are going to be joining on this one. And so I don't know if you coordinate, if you like choose the same motel. What do you think you would do?
I think we at least talk about it. Ezra, do you tell us about the help me that you were able to decipher?
Of course, because I don't want to be the only one freaked out about it.
Yeah, it's been weighing on him all the entire way with the Feng Hua. So let's say
as soon as he can, he's like, guys,
it says help me.
Yeah, because let's say you meet up in downtown Boston, and
you sure it doesn't say Yelp me? Like maybe someone wanted you to write a review
right
of their like cronut shop.
Do each of our invitations have the same markings?
Yeah, so the scripting, the sort of variations in the sort of looping or trembling, the variations are there, but each one bears the similar markings, pencil markings. Yeah, speaking of Yelp Me, maybe of each you, but at least Willow checks the Yelp for the Gateway Bridges restaurant, and you see that
I would do that.
it's a local favorite for its Tuesday and Friday buy one get one free appetizer nights. But
Tuesday and
otherwise,
Friday.
yeah, Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday.
That's
Looking
why
good
it's a
for.
favorite. But the food is otherwise unremarkable as far as you can tell.
Sorry. So, I guess if we're, I guess we all are planning to go down like earlier in the day of. So Friday morning, is that what we're doing? I
Yeah.
guess so. All right. So, um,
So let's say you meet up on that Saturday. Um, maybe it's actually on the common. It's a nice day. It's a warm day, and you know that public open spaces can sometimes be the best ones to meet up to have these sorts of conversations. Better to be outside. And so the three of you, uh, you know, older, more experienced than those bright-faced young agents in 1995, sort of tentatively see each other from across varying pathways in the common, coming together under one of the statues, and sit down to talk and share. And Jacob shares this information about the invitation, this sort of odd note, and Willow shares what she saw about the invitation. About the writing, and about the paper stock. How it's a very old-fashioned sort of invitation. Again, these sort of layers of paper glued onto each other. And yeah.
Bet Willow's not really a fan of parks ever since the child clown incident of 1995.
I'll never forget.
Thankfully, not too many performances today.
Do we, any thoughts beyond this? Do we want to head over there early to stake it out?
Yeah, because it's not till Tuesday, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's that's right. What did I say? It's the 29th that you got this, and it's going to be the 1st of September when you actually have to be there for the event.
2 for 1 appetizer night.
It is going to be 2 for 1 appetizer night.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I've picked up a bit of paranoia in the intervening time, so I'm feeling quite suspicious about the whole thing. So I would feel
good to see it in the daytime, perhaps.
Yeah, I feel comfortable getting a sense, around the perimeter. Looking at any entrances, exits, that sort of thing. See what
Absolutely.
we're dealing with.
So you three go over there, and let's say Willow, you actually drove. Again, that paranoia. You don't want anyone driving anywhere these days. You prefer to have a car with lockable doors. You drive over to the restaurant, and you find that it is a fairly unremarkable one-story sort of Italian Mediterranean restaurant in Dorchester. It's been there, as far as you can tell, since the early 80s. And it looks it. It's one of those hole-in-the-wall type of places. And you see from the outside that the building's composed of this terraced area on the exterior that's getting some use. Let's say you're heading over there around lunchtime on that Saturday. And an alleyway off to one side where the dumpsters are. But Jack, you in particular determined that there's this park actually right across the street from it, and your SWAT instincts, your HRT instincts kick in, and you're like, if I was going to stake this place out, like that's actually a really good vantage point to just sit and watch. From across the street in this park, you'd have a really good view of the parking lot, which is a pretty decent size, and the restaurant sort of set back. And because of the way it's situated, you can kind of see the terrace, you can see the alleyway, and there's not a lot behind it, not a lot of places, since there's it abuts right up to a little bit of water.
All right, so maybe we can head out over there, and I suppose Ezra brought his camera.
Of course,
Yep.
I brought my camera.
Exactly.
I
Ezra
think I
always has his camera.
brought a bag full of SWAT stuff on the train, which I'm sure went over in a while. I'm sure I wasn't security checked or anything like that.
Just
No?
very nonchalant, normal.
Oh, it's
You don't
fine.
need
Well,
to
you just
check
flash
in
the
that double
badge,
bag.
right? Just flash the badge. The badge.
I'd be. So is the restaurant open now?
Oh yeah, it's open. Mm-hmm.
Could we go in and just talk to the hostess?
Sure.
Trying
And
to
so
think
maybe
of-
I'll go in the park while
Yeah.
the two of you. Let's start this off by splitting up.
Let's definitely all go different directions.
Yeah, so you go inside the restaurant, and it looks on the interior almost as exactly as you might expect it for this type of establishment. The faux Tuscan stylings on the walls, and the brown faux leather padding on the metal frame chairs. But everything is worn, but you can tell that there's a lot of care. Like there's a reason this place has the Yelp following it does, right? You can tell that it has fresh specials that are going up, that they take care to put the napkins out sharply folded, even though they're paper. And everyone seems in good spirits inside. You go up to the hostess. There's a hostess waiting there. She says, "Hey, how can I help you? Table for 3?"
No, we're actually coming back on Tuesday for a party. But that's all I remember. I lost my invitation. I'm wondering if you could remind me like when it is and anything you can remember about it. I want to be prepared and get a gift and all that.
When did you say it is?
It's supposed to be on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, not a lot of parties we get during the week. And she sort of looks and flips through her planner, her book, and she looks and she says, "Oh, that's yeah, yeah. No, that's the Richard Zaloni birthday private function. Yeah, that's going to be in one of our party rooms. It looks like it's for 8 p.m. is when guests are showing up. That's so funny. He's such a sweet old guy, but we didn't honestly think he had any friends. So it's really funny.
Does he come in here a lot?
Oh, the doctor? Yeah, yeah. Oh, he's a regular.
Oh, okay. How many people did they say? How many people to expect?
Ah, I mean, it's the room can hold up to 12. Uh, uh, Doctor Barbas didn't say exactly how many people.
Okay. Anything else you want to ask that could be helpful?
How's the fried smelt?
Oh, it's great. You know, we have. I mean, really, is this your first time here?
It is my first time here.
Really,
It
what you
stood out to me on the specials, so
yeah, the smelt's great. The calamar, that's what you need, with a little bit of our marinara right there on the side. Oh,
Marinara.
it's good. You can get it with or without the peppers.
gotta go Rhode Island style.
We'll have to get that on Tuesday at the dinner.
Yeah, I know.
Why wait? I'm hungry now.
Oh, you want that table? I think
No,
we
we
might
gotta
still have
run.
one on the terrace. Oh, okay.
We're meeting a friend.
That's all right. Well, I guess we'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. She gives you a smile and a wave as you head out.
I should be like, is the doctor creepy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't say it.
You just don't say it. She yells after you as you're heading out. Don't forget tonight, 2-for-1 appetizer specials. As you're sort of walking.
And so I haven't really determined how long I'm gonna stay sort of checking it out from the park. But
I'll be right back.
don't have much else to do, in the city. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Boston, so I don't really need to go sightseeing.
You don't really need to sightsee. Well, let's assume that you want to sort of go back over and stake it out. And maybe you do spend at least a day, sort of going through the motions.
Yeah, the hostess said that the doctor's a regular, not that we recognize him by.
Right. So let's say you spend, maybe you tell the others, I'm going to spend the rest of today and tomorrow just keeping an eye on the place.
Yeah.
And there are a couple things you pick up. So they might go off.
It's so realistic. They both stepped away from.
They're really just acknowledging your expertise in the place. In the surveillance realm. But you do note a couple things. One is that the party room, the function room, does have 3 windows, and it's easily looked into from this vantage, from a vantage point you can pick up the park. And I'll fast forward and just say that actually make an alertness roll for me at a +20.
Sorry, getting there.
Great. So, so you stake out the restaurant, and employees come and go, seem to keep normal hours. You do see one man who appears to be maybe the manager or the owner. You weren't quite sure, but he comes in. Arrives around 2 or 3 p.m. and is the last person out because you stay through to the 2 a.m. closing, and he's the one who locks up at that point. And you see locals who appear to be local Bostonians sort of coming in, coming out, parties of laughing, happy people.
I hear a lot of loud Boston accents.
Obnoxious, loud Boston accents.
Super annoying.
That's right. Chatting about whatever local sports event has taken place at that point on that particular Saturday, or is going to take place. And there is a party that's being held in the event room, and you're able to see very clearly. It looks as if it's somebody's grandmother's birthday that's being held, and cake being passed around and presents. But you don't see anything that is sort of immediately sinister.
Now, is this a freestanding restaurant, or is it sort of the typical apartments above?
So this actually happens to be freestanding, like no additional apartments above. And like I said, it's kind of ideal for surveillance in this sense because it's detached and doesn't have additional floors above.
I got to say that I'm sort of relieved because I'd be tempted to go in past closing to see if a person who needs help is in those apartments. But
hey, Vic could be waiting for you.
It's like Jack never learns from his mistakes.
No, exactly. But no, you sort of stay through until the wee hours of Sunday morning, sort of keeping an eye on things, and you have a feel for the employees. You have a feel for the again, this person you feel like is the manager or the owner. And generally speaking, this doesn't seem to be giving off any sort of particular sinister vibe. Willow and oh god, Willow or Jacob, do you have any pursuits the coming days? Willow, do you actually want to go book hunting?
Yeah, I probably couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist doing what?
Looking for books.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm on the book look.
Do you take Jacob with you?
Yeah, he can check out, the local delicacies.
Delicatessines.
Places Jello.
So how do you, Willow? Do you reach out to Bibliophile 99 for recommendations? Like, where do you go to figure out where you should be hunting?
Yeah, I'll reach out, but I won't be specific about the fact that I'm there right now. Mm-hmm. Just because, I'm very cautious these days.
So you asked for recommendations for bookstores all up and down the Northeast coast?
No, I mean, I'll say that if I'm planning a trip later in the fall, where would this internet friend recommend?
In Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your friend gets back in touch with you pretty quickly. Because at this point you feel like you have this rapport, and you have notifications set up too for when direct messages come through. And Bibliophile 99 gives some recommendations, like there's Raven Books in Cambridge, and of course you have the university bookstores, like especially the Harvard one's not bad. But they also recommend, they say, there are these small hole-in-the-wall places. Some of them still exist downtown, like in the financial district or surrounding area that you probably have some good pickups. Like what you both are interested in are sort of esoteric stuff, right? The hard to find things, not the mass production signed copies or whatever the latest really cool books are.
Pish posh.
Right? And so Bibliophile 99 gives a recommendation to go look down there, but in particular around Arch Street or Milk Street, kind of off the beaten path, and down around Washington Street, that kind of area, downtown Crossing-ish, back alleys especially.
I say thanks. I will enjoy these later in the fall.
Later,
when I make my
go.
trip. Not right now.
Precisely. And then you proceed to.
And then I proceed to go there.
Absolutely. So you head out over to look with Jacob.
I'm texting saying, so what do you? Well, I'm staking out this place, trying to look out for the team. What are you guys up to? What leads are you following?
I'll say we are also helping the team and following some leads.
So you,
Jacob,
go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead with what you were going to say.
No, I was just going to say, Jacob, you're going along with Willow.
I was going to find another one of those wonderful internet cafes that I love, and try to figure out a couple of things. One, why the Gateway Bridges is called the Gateway Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a gateway or a bridge near their restaurant, or is it just a random name?
Absolutely.
Or a random name. And also see if there's been any like health inspections recently or anything that like may indicate something more nefarious with goings on with the actual restaurant itself.
Absolutely. So you head off to an internet cafe, or even at this point have your little Wi-Fi laptop and mobile hotspot set up, ready to go. And
there's no donuts if I do that.
That's right. And so you go to set up shop. And Willow, you get downtown and bid adieu to Jacob. He says he's going to go off and do a little bit of research. And Willow, you start roaming around, again, sort of starting off of Washington Street and then heading off onto Milk Street. And you make a right turn here and a left turn there. And after a little while, you realize you feel like you've been walking for a while. And the combination of sort of the lateness of the day combined with the height of the buildings around you, the roads, these one-way roads, seem to be getting sort of a little bit more shady, a little bit darker as you're walking. But then up ahead, you sort of get this glimpse of something metallic sort of shining off a window that grabs your attention. And you see that it appears to be a bookshop. You see books sort of pressed up against the glass of the window, and this very sort of cluttered window, and the security gate is partly slid down, sort of seemingly stuck in place, and there's this sort of faint outline in goldish paint of the word books on the window.
Was this one on the list?
It was. I mean, at this point, you don't know there actually isn't an address on the door.
The bookshop is nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
See, look, Jacob and Jack contributing to the team. You're going astray, but go ahead, check it out. I'm sure the gate that's halfway closed will not
suddenly lock you in. That won't be a problem.
It'll be fine. And we did split up, by the way. Good job, us.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All three of us went a different way.
That's
In
true.
the end, make it easy for me. So
All
Willow,
right,
what do you do?
I'll take a closer look. I've come all this way, and that's what I was looking for. So
Yeah, so the door is actually ajar. It's not even kind of closed. And you open the door, and there's a little ding, ding, ding of a bell. And off further in the stacks, you see that it's a fairly deep store. You know, these narrow, cramped bookshelves.
One upstairs.
And the yeah, and you hear a voice from towards the back. Be with you in just a minute. As you sort of walk in, and you're looking around, and you see this is exactly the sort of place that you're looking for. Like, it's full of the sort of old tomes and sort of old leather spines with faint gold lettering that are like catnip to you these days.
Mm-hmm. I'm so engrossed, I don't even pay attention to the incessant text alerts I'm getting from Jack. Being like, you're not helping the team.
Exactly.
Where
no.
are you? I'm staking
Actually,
it
your
out.
your phone isn't buzzing at all.
Oh, okay.
Lost
And
service in downtown Crossing.
yeah, I know. It's the triangulation, it's the buildings interference. And after a moment, a man sort of comes up. You know, he has a handful of books under his, you know, sort of in his hands in front of him, and he looks like this, and he says, "Hello, welcome. How can I help you?"
Yeah, that's the same.
Oh.
That's the same picture as. Who's that?
It's the bookshop owner.
No, who was that?
It's the bookshop owner.
Stop it.
He says, "Hello, I'm so glad you found the shop. My name is Robert, but please call me Bob."
It's
Robert.
Robert? Come again?
He smiles with a big grin, like very, very white teeth, perfectly straight, and laughs, sort of catching you off guard. And he hands you this card. "I get questions all the time." He hands you this thick hand-pressed vellum card, which reads, "B.R. Robert, Bibliopola." No phone number, no address. And he's wearing this well-tailored suit, three-piece suit with an ascot around his neck.
Well, that's
Can
really
I,
valuable.
Can I detect good and evil? Is there a thing I can do here? No.
He says, "If I can help you, or if you'd prefer to just wander far and wide to find what is hidden."
Can I ask him just to tell me more about the shop? How long it's been here?
Oh, this shop. We have been here forever. This is a place I feel like that just collects things. We have so much here to find, but it is such an inconstant font of knowledge. It is so. But my lot in life, as I say, is to fill all wanting vessels. So, how may I feel what you are missing?
Well, I'm not looking for anything in particular, but always something unique and hard to find.
Unique and hard to find. Interesting. I mean, we have all that is hard to find here. But perhaps you could tell me, what are you looking for? Fiction, nonfiction, something
In between.
of a play, something
Ugh.
of the truth.
I think I'm getting the willies now.
There's the Bobs, now it's the Willies.
uh,
If you'd like, I may have something that you might find interesting. You do seem like a discriminating customer.
I'm torn right now between the impulse to flee and the curiosity of him saying a play.
Mm-hmm.
Willies.
Your sister, remember that whole incident? That movie
Mm-hmm.
was based on a play, a song. Do you recall?
All right, I'm curious enough that I want to ask
Song
if
before
he
travel.
can I reference that?
Sure. Ah, I have heard of it. It is highly derivative, however. Highly derivative. I feel like you would be better suited with the source material.
What's the source?
Leroy Dejean.
Okay.
A French play.
All right. Do you have that here?
I do, I believe. Here, follow me. And he
No.
begins to he turns and begins to head down one of the passageways in between the shelves. Do you follow him?
No, I'm gonna tell him I'll keep browsing while he sees if he has it.
Ah, he turns. But you must come. But you must come, Willow.
Goodbye. I'm gonna leave.
All right. Jingle, 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 jingle. Bell rings as you flee out the door, and you hear his voice still sort of echoing. Willow! Willow! I still have Poppy's copy.
Oh my gosh.
The last thing you hear is the door sort of partially closes, and you flee down the alleyway. And it takes you a couple minutes to get back to. You burst into the sudden life and tumult of downtown Crossing. You know, the tourists in the attics and the locals all intermingling in a variety of directions and ways. And you take a moment to catch your breath. Make a sanity check for me.
Mm-hmm. Oof, no, didn't like it.
Who would?
So roll a 1d4.
I will.
Yeah, just 1 point. 1 point.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I have so many points, so it's fine.
So yes, Leroy de Jean, which I'm sure I'm mangling terribly, but this title in seemingly in French that he had given you, at least is something that is floating in your head as you sort of clutch your knees and sort of give these big heaving breaths. Jacob, you're off in a coffee shop, having a donut, enjoying some coffee.
Exactly.
What are you looking into again? You were looking at the Gateway Bridges.
Gateway Bridges to figure out where its name comes from, like where if it has any information on the owner. Also looking for any like health board issues lately.
Absolutely.
Kind of getting the paperwork lowdown on our hosts.
Yeah. Are you doing a search on the name Barbas, Dr. Barbas? That name had come up on the part of the hostess.
Yeah, the Dr. Barbers. Yes, sorry.
Yep.
That was the one that was organizing the party, right?
Yep, that's what she had said, that he was a regular. And what's your bureaucracy?
It is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It is a.
It's only.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm not even gonna. Yeah, make a roll for me just to determine how much you're
gonna blow it.
That's. Oh, you're good. Stay frosty. So the easy stuff. You look into the Gateway Bridges, and it appears that so there used to be a bridge nearby, and here I'll say here because what's that?
Nothing. I was just joking.
Oh. That sort of went across one of the points, from from over in over to North Quincy. That it was actually moved, and so now it's the Neponset Bridge, I suppose. That's there, and or at least one of the bridges across the Neponset. That's part of the 93 connection, and so there are still some foundation elements from this old bridge, which was apparently torn down in sort of turn of the century, but had turn of the prior century, and had there's still, you find some pictures of some old foundation pieces and like dedication stones from this old bridge that's nearby. So apparently it seems to be to that. It's been there since 1981, and the health it appears to be owned by Eduardo Diaz, and it seems as if he's been the owner the entire time. Or I should say that his father, Eduardo Diaz Sr., and this is Eduardo Diaz Jr., who now appears to be the current proprietor. But liquor license and everything else appear in order. No sort of red flags. Health department, perfectly happy with it. You looking in police records, every once in a while there's an altercation between locals who have over imbibed, but nothing that stands out to you. It does seem as if there were some permits pulled, that it went through a expansion with the patio, the terrace was added on, but no other sort of major expansion.
Yes.
Yeah. You look up Dr. Barbas and you get a hit, and you suspect it's a unique enough last name and connected with the doctor piece. You strongly suspect that it is a gentleman who works with the Massachusetts State Police. That when you're sort of digging in and do a little bit of searching, maybe send some emails, maybe make a couple calls, um, you see that, or get the impression, and this is without sort of calling up for his file or something like that, more official, but that it seems as if this Dr. Barbas character, who is actually, bear with me just a moment, Elias, Elias, Dr. Elias Barbas. And he has been with the Massachusetts State Police for 20 odd years. Appears as if he currently is the director of, or at first it seems like he's the director of the forensics or administrator within the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory, and president of the local chapter of the National Association of Police Organizations. He's old enough that you in particular can tell he's probably within spitting distance of retirement. But there are a couple odd things that come up. One is both for the local chapter of NAPO and for the director position, administrative position at the crime lab. You notice that there are that he's listed as president emeritus of the chapter of the NAPO, and there's another individual who's listed as acting administrator of the State Police Crime Lab. So some discrepancy between sort of LinkedIn and other sources and what you're seeing on the official sites. It appears to be relatively recent, as in a matter of like months. Do you dig deeper, or do you sort of?
Sure, let's go dig deeper, because what could possibly go wrong?
Do you want to try and get access to his personnel file, or do something that could be a little more risky?
Sure.
Why
not?
Give me another bureaucracy roll.
And Willow's just hoping somebody else goes.
There you go. Stay frosty. You know at this point, strings to pull. So you start going through some official channels, calling up the state police, and you know enough at this point. And who knows whether you actually use Jack's name when you do so, because I mean you memorized his ID, personnel ID, and other information. But you call up and you're able to give enough.
Wait, what's this now?
Yeah. No, you're able to give enough of a cover to make it seem as if you're calling from another law enforcement agency, requesting after Barbas's record as a potential new employer. So as if you're trying to go through a background check on him, and you find that in June of 2015. So just a few months prior, he
June 5th of 2019.
No, just June of 2015. So just within a matter of months from where you are right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. He essentially sort of withdrew from his job. That you're on the phone with some HR functionary who's explaining in a very sort of polite and circumspect way that there have been a number of official complaints and reprimands, calls for hearings and interventions, and that it appears that the state police have placed him on administrative leave as proceedings are underway to actually terminate him. But the union is fighting it vociferously, so it seems to still be up in the air.
What date is it now again?
It's at this point it's the tail end of August,
Okay.
so 2 months roughly.
Can we cross-reference his name with Michael Witter?
Yeah, so you look up Michael Whitwer, yeah, and you see, you find a couple things. You dig through. You dig through a number of records, and you find that Michael Whitwer appears to be an active Drug Enforcement Administration agent based out of LA.
Okay.
And he does not have an active social media presence, but he appears to have a fiancée by the name of Ophelia Sitri, Sitri, who has a Facebook account and references him, and doesn't have privacy settings on. So you're able to go on and see that a couple of things. One is that she has posted about him, and being very excited, seemingly to marry, and there. Here we are.
Anything about sprockets?
Anything about sprockets? Well, you see a picture of him and you recognize him, minus the sprockets, from the on one of the pictures of them looking quite happy with each other. But you do see something else a bit odd. As you are going through her social media presence. And there are a couple of things. One is she has a number of positive Yelp reviews as a hairdresser.
Terrifying.
Yeah, you have these pictures of her with Michael Whitwer, news of their engagement, but then there's this sort of very brief and cryptic post that seems to be the one of the last sort of text postings that she's made from early July about Whitwer going missing.
Is there anything about him taking a trip to Boston on June 6th?
There is not. That he just is. That he there's something related to his job, and she doesn't mention him being a DEA agent. But she says, Michael's been missing. Been trying to track him down. It seems as if, work doesn't know where he is either. If anyone knows anything, please, let me know right away. If any friends and family. And then you see there is one other sort of post, a single image from the 13th of August, so 2 weeks ago. And it's just the image, and it looks like this. It's this out of focus photo.
Am I supposed to be saying something?
It should post right now.
God damn it.
It's an out of focus photo.
Not again.
And there's a single reply by somebody named Emily Harris that reads, "What is this? Oh, I don't like it." And no reply.
Okay.
If you could make a sanity check for me.
If I could. Taco Bell. Character sheet. 70 points. Me.
Hey, beautiful. Yep. feeling cool, calm, and collected.
There's a cucumber over there.
Yeah. So any further?
Right. So I know the Masons hate the sign. I know Michelle Van Fitz had the symbol years. I know it was on a newspaper. I know it's on a wall now. I'm getting really sick of the symbol being everywhere.
Yep.
And nobody wanted to talk about it.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Okay.
All connected. It's all coming back to me.
All right.
All just
It's
coming together.
all coming together. All right. So for I feel like at this point, Jack, you're still in touch with the others. They, Jacob and Willow, you sort of finish up with your research and your preparation. You at some point, let's say the next morning, reconvene with each other after Jack has had a chance to catch some sleep. This is Sunday before the Tuesday when you're supposed to have this meeting.
So does Willow share what happened in the bookstore?
Yeah, I'll share with you guys because we experienced this thing together the first time.
What do you share? What do you say? Sitting inside this coffee shop.
I'll speak in hushed tones. I'll tell them that I stumbled on a bookstore and so out of character, I'm having a hard time remembering if I would have encountered that guy before or not. I can't remember if I interacted with him or not, and if I would have had like a sense of deja vu or not. Like if
you have a very strong sense of deja vu. You remember meeting this man almost 10 years ago. Same shop, same man, same age of that man. 10 years ago, but different city, and with your sister by your side.
Well, I'll relay to you guys that there was this creepy guy. I swear I've met before. He referenced my sister in the play. He knew my name, and I fled. It was very disturbing, but there's something going on.
I think I'd be a little fired up to potentially, this thing is until Tuesday. Why not, do you want to go back? Like, we could go with you to try to find out more. Maybe you want to see this book. Maybe we want to question him when you have us to back you up.
Yeah, I'd go back, but not alone.
I sort of show off my, I'm like, we've got sidearms. Not afraid to use it.
Yeah. Got two sidearms.
All right, you go in first.
You also mentioned the title of the play that he mentioned.
It's probably less imposing if I'm going like this.
Yeah, right. Le Roi en Jaune, which Jacob recognizes as French.
Because it is also the King in Yellow.
The King in Yellow.
Oh, is that what it means?
That's what it means. Title of the play.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Picked up on that last session.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, okay. Does he tells us that's what it means?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If everyone would like to make an occult check for me.
I would like to make that check.
Why is it always the King in Yellow?
No. Oof.
Nope.
Nope. Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't ring a bell.
All of us struck right out.
Yeah, no, it's
Mm.
it bears further investigation. You don't know. You do not know.
We've got the
But
time
the
if we want to go
implication,
back.
right? The implication is
It's
that
up
it
to
is a
you.
play, and
We got you back.
that it is a precursor or inspiration of some sort for a song before travel, which was this play that then was turned into a movie, a film of some sort.
Hmm. Is there anything else we need to or we want to do before?
Well, to be honest,
Tuesday?
like it can't be a coincidence, right? So we have till Tuesday before this other thing is, which may be related, shows up. But if you encounter this person and this is going on, then I would think we want to sort of try to get to the end of this, not have this open when we go into that situation. But that's my 2 cents worth, team.
There's safety in numbers, so
Let's not split up again.
let's not split up.
Lesson
Go
learned
together.
again.
Do you think I could find my way back to the store, though?
Ooh, that is a great.
I mean, I should point out,
Very finely.
I have a great sense of direction.
You do. It is one of your.
I'm sure I made
Your
note of
skills.
some very interesting landmarks when I was there.
So it's Sunday morning, and you've decided, the three of you, that you'd like to try and find this bookstore. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
After a solid brunch, so that Jacob doesn't get grouchy.
Yes, exactly.
Solid brunch.
I'd like each of you to make sanity rolls.
Sanity rolls.
Yeah, as your sanity rolls from each of you, as you are following Willow through the streets and back alleys of downtown Boston.
Nice.
Come on, you guys. It'll be fine.
So
I sort of walk behind the two of them, going like,
I thought I was gonna put you in the front, like just.
So you're walking around, and Willow, you're getting increasingly frustrated because you keep insisting that it's got to be right around here. I know it. You feel it, and you feel it's like something like a rope slipping out of your fingers, because every time you feel like this has to be the turn I made, and your sense of direction is something that you pride yourself on, that you could navigate your way out of a national forest without a compass, using your intuition and sort of magnetic sense alone, just figure out which way you're supposed to go. And each time it seems like this isn't it. This isn't the street. And Jack, you're getting sort of similarly frustrated because you're like, just find the damn street. Like, how
almost
hard?
time for 11sies, okay?
Yeah, and Jacob's like, ugh. Jacob, you're wandering
starting to
around.
feel a little dizzy from lack of.
Yeah. Spinning around so much, and so Jack and Willow, you're both starting to sort of snipe at each other, on trying to locate this place. Jacob,
Are you sure? Are you sure you saw it?
Exactly.
It was right over there. Or was it over there?
Exactly. Jacob, you're walking along, and all of a sudden you see the two of them are bickering. You turn and you see something off to the side, and you're looking, and there's a posting on a pole nearby.
With the symbol.
Oh, no,
And
not again.
at first you
Oh, he
think,
hates that symbol.
At first, you
Doesn't look.
think it is a repeat of that post from Ophelia Citry's social media, that it's that
Yep.
big mailing tag with the symbol on it, and it sort of hovers and blurs in front of your eyes, and you're about to turn and sort of say something to them, as sort of the blood is rushing in your head, and sort of a headache coming on. But then you sort of blink and you realize that instead it is this photocopied um, flyer that's been stapled up to the pole. So if you wanna read that out to the group.
Encounter group, no cost. Find the answer to life's questions in a no judgment group environment. 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays, St. Jude's Church, Dorchester's. Masks provided. Tireless heroes explore the knowing infinite light grants comfort on moonlit endless seas.
Is that the symbol again there?
And that is the symbol again there. Yeah.
If you could make actually no, just take a 1 point hit
Okay.
from the fumble.
The king comes? Is that what? Right? The king comes?
Oh, you did not.
What?
Oh, you are so good.
What's that, chat? What's that?
Oh no, he's.
Tireless heroes explore knowing infinite night grants comfort on moonlit endless seas.
There you go.
But I'm sure I didn't see it.
The king
'Cause I was
comes.
looking at something
It's
else.
just a coincidence. I mean, it could have been any.
The king
Any
comes. Jack,
acronym at
if
all.
you could make a sanity check for me.
I didn't see anything. I'm just kidding.
Didn't see anything.
Oh, that was exciting, though. That was
Yeah,
exciting.
I could not. There was mouth. There was no. It was just went right to the mouth. I couldn't. I guess I did see it.
You sure
Oh,
did.
no.
Just a 1 point hit for you on making that connection. So it's incredibly jarring, and you realize it's the combination of the symbol, which again, just as it does for Jacob, is sort of buzzing, humming in your vision and on your brain, sort of sizzling, static as you look at it, and so you can't help but just look at the words instead, and you're thinking, poring over them, just thinking of this phrase: "Tireless heroes explore, knowing infinite night grants comfort on moonlit endless seas." And in your head, you're picturing this huge moonlit lake, and reflecting the lights of a nearby city. And it brings you back to that vision you had of that city through the rubble, that hallway in the McAllister over 20 years ago, of pulling away those rocks, because that was you, wasn't it? Digging through for
I
a
was
look.
trying to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And seeing on the other side that vision of a palace on top of a hill in a city with a lake right near it. And the night, the depth of that night, the brightness of the stars, and the brightness of those yellow windows shining upon that sea, that lake nearby. And it almost sort of pops in your head before you even make the connection with the letters. The king comes. And the lights from those windows in the palace glow a little bit brighter. So we'll go ahead and take a break there for tonight.
It's always on Tuesdays that anything happens.
And Tuesdays. I know, right? Double appetizers and
tacos and encounter groups and parties.
That's right. And it's too bad you can't go to the group meetings. It's at the same time as your dinner.
Well, we can always split up again.
That's true. We'll just divide and conquer.
Well, we were all
Richard
invited,
Zaloni is going to be so upset if you don't come to his party.
Mm.
Bring a gift.
You gotta bring a gift.
We'll get something at the bookshop, you guys. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I already have something in my luggage for him. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
A nice stage rifle.
Yes,
Oh, good.
exactly.
That'd be
There we
nice.
go. There we go. Yes, so we'll say that you have you spent your Sunday, but you still have Monday and Tuesday ahead of you, unless we sort of fast forward
Who
in
would
the
have
next
thunk
session.
on a nice Sunday afternoon, we all would have lost a little bit of sanity.
That's right. That's right. Off to a good start in 2015. I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you guys.
That was great.
Some very good discoveries, but we'll Old Yeller.
Oh, no.
Oh no. We'll pick up next time.
What do you guys think constitutes a solid brunch?
Solid
What would
brunch.
we have had?
That's a great question.
There definitely needs to be eggs involved.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Bacon.
Some kind of breakfast meat. Then you get into the whole: do you require pancakes or waffles?
Yeah.
And if so, which one
No, I
is
think
it?
it's the really thick French toast for a solid brunch.
Yes.
Maybe.
You know, I would have to say, I mean, I don't know if this is moving from solid to upscale, but like an eggs Benedict, I feel like is like a solid brunch.
That's a solid brunch.
But set eggs Benedict aside, a solid brunch even without it, you need to have mimosas, even bad mimosas, right?
Right,
That's
right.
going to be a requirement.
I'm sure that helped our exploration of downtown crossing.
As you know, everyone was partaking of the bottomless mimosas.
We're like Sunday.
It's Sunday.
We don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. This is like a chill hang. We'll
I'm on
just have
vacation,
some
okay?
mimosas.
That's right. You're on vacation. You got the PTO.
PTO.
I have a fake book convention to get to. It's great. All right. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
you guys.
Thanks all.